Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Talk Sports Show with host Alec Picado on November 28th, Tuesday, November 28th. Today's show, I'll be going over my fantasy football best performance of the week and my waiver wire and some college basketball upsets. Let's get right into it. My fantasy football best performance today from Sunday was C.J. Stroud, 304 yards passing, 3 total touchdowns, 2 passing, 1 rushing touchdown. And I don't know how many more times I have to say this. C.J. Stroud should be starting in your lineup the rest of the season, regardless of who you have at quarterback. Unless you have a Josh Allen or a Patrick Mahomes or a Tua. C.J. Stroud is a set it and forget it QB1 rest of the season. Now here's my waiver wire. Guys, under 80% rostered in leagues. And how I do this is I give you every position. I give you a kicker, a defense, a wide receiver, a tight end, a running back, under 80% rostered. If they are over 80% rostered, I will not be talking about them. The first guy I will be talking about is Raiders QB Aiden O'Connell. If you need a quarterback because you lost Aaron Rodgers, Kirk Cousins, or maybe Baker Mayfield, because I think Baker's going to play Sunday. But if you lost one of those 3 QBs and you need somebody to fill in, I would be fine with Aiden O'Connell being a guy you pick up off the waiver wire. 2.4% rostered. Available in virtually every league. And I would like, if he's 10%9% rostered by the time we do this next week. Number 2, tight end Isaiah Likely from the Ravens. Now, this one's going to be an ad for next week because the Ravens are on bye this week. And you won't be able to use Likely this week. But if you hold out for 1 week, you will be able to use him next week when he comes off the bye. The next guy I would recommend adding is Jonathan Mingo, Panthers rookie wide receiver, 7.6% rostered. Now, I talked about Mingo earlier in the season and how he was getting volume. And it seems to be that way again. And we'll see on Sunday how it goes against the Buccaneers defense. He should have a big game against the Bucs. And if he does, and you don't pick him up, you're going to regret not picking him up. The running back, the top running back ad, especially if you're an Aaron Jones owner, is A.J. Dillon, 67.7% rostered. I like A.J. Dillon if he's available in your league, even if you don't have Aaron Jones. If a league mate of yours has Aaron Jones, I would go out and pick up A.J. Dillon to block, put in a waiver claim for A.J. Dillon to block your league mate that has Aaron Jones from picking up A.J. Dillon on the waiver wire if A.J. Dillon is on the waiver wire and available. Now, I talked about this defense a couple weeks ago, and they had a couple good games, but they had a blunder. They've had 2 blunders back-to-back weeks. Well, I mean, I wouldn't really call the Colts game a blunder. They gave up 27 points to a decent offense, but it's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense, 14.9% rostered. And their next 3 matchups are at home against Carolina, at Atlanta, at Green Bay. Those two middle ones, and Carolina, all three have the potential to be blow-up games for the Buccaneer defense. Because Carolina, they have a rookie quarterback, Bryce Young, who likes to throw interceptions. For one, they can't block, so the Buccaneers should be able to get a lot of pressure on the quarterback. 3, the second, so that's Carolina. Atlanta, Desmond Ridder is the quarterback again for Atlanta. And we saw early in the season the issues Desmond Ridder had. He fumbles a lot. He does throw some interceptions. So the Buccaneers should be able to get turnovers. And Green Bay, Jordan Love, he's hit or miss. He could have a really good game. He could have a bad game. It just really depends on how he comes out and plays. And in my waiver wire kicker ad for this week is Matt Prater of the Cardinals. And again, the Cardinals are not on bye this week. They play at Pittsburgh. And I believe that's going to be a really good game after what we saw from Pittsburgh's offense this past week against Cincinnati with no Matt Canada. The offense, they had over 400 yards of total offense, did the Steelers on Sunday against the Cardinals. I think they can do the same thing against Cardinals. So I think the Cardinals are going to have to score a lot of points to keep up. And I think Matt Prater is the perfect kicker to add off the waiver wire if you need a kicker because you had Justin Tucker or any of the kickers that are on bye this week. Now, here are my college basketball upsets for today. My first college basketball upset is Notre Dame +9 over South Carolina. Notre Dame has been known to be really good in basketball. And I'm going to say this. I'm giving you 3 college basketball upsets. 3. So this is the first one. Notre Dame +9 over to upset South Carolina. And let me get back to what I was saying. Notre Dame, over the years, has been really good in basketball. And I think that trend continues. And they somehow pull the upset here against South Carolina. LSU and Syracuse is the next one. I have Syracuse +1.5 to upset. I have LSU +1.5 to upset Syracuse. I watched LSU's game against my alma mater, North Florida, last week. And yes, North Florida covered against LSU, but there was some players I was keeping. There's a few guys on LSU that I really like that I think could help them pull the upset here against Syracuse. And my last upset is Akron +2.5 to upset UNLV. And this is a late game, I believe. I like the upset here because Akron is having a decently good start to the year in the MAC. And I think they can pull the upset. My first cover is Kansas -38.5 to cover the spread against Eastern Illinois. Kansas has a lot of good players on their team. And I think they can cover this point spread against Eastern Illinois and win the game easily. Purdue -30.5 to cover the point spread against Texas Southern. Now, normally I would stay away from a game like this because it's a HBCU playing a Big Ten school. And we've seen over the years that HBCU schools can pull the upset. I'm sorry, I don't think it happens here. I think Purdue covers the spread of 30.5 and wins against Texas Southern. Now we get to my over-under picks for college basketball. So I have Clemson versus Alabama. The over-under is 159.5 points. I like over 159.5 because Alabama almost scored 80 against Ohio State. And they score right around that number of points every game. So I like Alabama and Clemson here to go over 159.5. And the last one is Pepperdine and Idaho State. The over-under is 140 points. I am taking the under. I don't trust either of these teams to make it to 80 points. And don't get me wrong, Pepperdine is a really good team, and so is Idaho State, but I don't see the avenue where either team gets to 100 points. I mean 80 points. I think the final score might be 69-64. It's going to be between 60 and 70 points for both teams. I'm going to give you 3 final score predictions for this. Pepperdine either wins 75-68, 74-68, or 75-63. One of those 3 will be the final score for the Pepperdine-Idaho State game, and the under will hit. We did not do good. I'll tell you what we did yesterday on our picks. Yesterday on our upset picks, we went 1 for 6. Yeah, 1 for 6 yesterday on upset picks. So that puts our season total right now at 14-16 for picks in college, upset picks in college basketball. We still got a long season ahead of us. So don't be worried. We will get the picks correct. And for those of you that have just subscribed, thank you. I offer memberships. Memberships start at 99 cents a month. You get really cool perks with the memberships. Like, if I get enough members, there will be members-only live streams. So I highly recommend joining the channel. Joining the Talk Sports family. Because also with the perks, you'll get to meet me in person at some point. I don't know when I'm doing meetups, but sometime in the future. Hint, hint. Maybe 2024, maybe 2025. I have to wait and see. I'm working on getting my driver's license, but we have to wait and see about that. And also, you get shouted out and live streams you get shouted out in live streams. You get your questions answered first. Priority questions answered. You get shout outs. You get a lot of stuff with that. But, ladies and gentlemen, that'll do it for today's show. I will see you back here tomorrow. And programming note, every Thursday going forward will be an NFL mock draft Thursday. So be prepared for that. But I will see y'all tomorrow. Have a good night.